Hey everybody, this is Liam from Home Coffee Solutions. I've come today presenting a machine called the De'Longhi TrueBrew. What's sitting beside me is a pre-release that they sent me a week ago. It's been sitting on my kitchen countertop, been brewing a bunch of beverages. They've asked me to share my thoughts on it, so here I am. This is the first fully automatic drip coffee maker designed for the North American market that has a whole bunch of feature sets that people have been asking for a really, really long time in fully automatic machines. It goes right after the single serve market. I'm going to say it right away. It's not for everybody, but people that are on single serve pods have a really, really strong reason to move over to this machine. Let's dive right in. Since I've been playing around with this machine for the past week, I've realized there isn't really a machine that's quite like this. Regardless of country, there's sort of a commonality that everybody sees, and that's a prioritization on ease of use and how people value it. Fully automatic espresso machines were really catered towards people that wanted to make their whole beverage preparation process easier, and there hasn't been many machines that have done that for the North American market on the drip coffee segment. It's really not surprising that 30 to 40% of all people in North America are drinking single-serve coffee pods. The TrueBrew is designed from top to bottom to be a one-button push machine, which arguably is actually easier to use. It can also produce a better cup of coffee and can also be cheaper based on the price per cup, depending on the beans that you're using. It's a zero-waste machine, so it just uses ground coffee as an integrated grinder and spits out the grounds. You throw them in your compost bin, that's it. There's a huge hole in the market here for people looking for an environmentally friendly alternative to single serve. This machine is not going to be perfect for everybody, but for people that love drip style coffee with a really big cup of joe, this is going to hit it out of the park. The machine is capable of making something called a gold cup, which is their gold standard for a really good cup of coffee. Doesn't mean that every cup that you make from it is going to be perfect and amazing, but it means it's capable. So if you use the right beans and you have the right strength adjustment and you probably set the temperature to the right degree, this is going to be an amazing coffee experience. De'Longhi has obviously gone out of their way and done a lot of research and development in the design of this machine. They've addressed a lot of common questions, concerns, and complaints that I've heard for years in the coffee retail sector. Some notable design aspects for the North American market are obviously the drip coffee, but they also have beverage temperature. So this thing is really hot. And I mean the hottest fully automatic I've ever seen, period. Lastly, people in North America really, really want a large beverage. And volumetric control going above 12 ounces is actually a huge priority for a large percentage of the population. Travel tumblers, thermoses, and really big mugs are pretty common. This, hilariously, goes to 24. In fact, you could even make an entire pot of coffee, and some of the TrueBrew systems are designed to support a full carafe. Designed in spec for the large volume of water, De'Longhi has made a really, really high cup clearance height. This is actually one of the biggest cup clearances I've ever seen for any coffee machine. Hard stop, period. It's pretty impressive. Now, talking about what this machine can do, I'd like to go over some of the beverages. This coffee maker's main beverage is a drip style coffee, from 8 ounces all the way up to 24. There are 3 temperature settings and 3 strength options, allowing you to change how the machine interacts with your favorite bean. Out of the box, I think the temperature is way too high, and I think it might have burned the coffee. After I lowered the temperature, I found the notes in the coffee came out better, and it was just a better cup. It's probably 80% of what I could get from a really expensive manual setup with a fraction of the fuss. With the right bean, this thing is definitely going to tower above most single-serve systems. This machine also has a setting for iced coffee, which they call over ice, and let me tell you, I think this is a home run. This thing calculates the volumetrics of how much room the ice takes up in the glass, makes a concentrated espresso-style shot, I think, and fills it up with the perfect amount of room for milk left over. I'm not sure how they calculated the volumetric control on this so perfectly, but it kind of blew my mind. Oh, and the coffee? It was great. I know it's a weird thing to say, but probably in the way that it would affect my life, it was my favorite feature on the machine. There's also a bypass doser for pre-ground coffee. Most people are going to be using this for decaf coffee. However, it's also an easy way to change up the bean, kind of brew a different cup of coffee without switching all the beans in the hopper. Lastly, this can also do a 3-ounce espresso-style beverage. This is not a true espresso, but it does seem to have some variable pressure control in the machine to make it a concentrated coffee liquid, and, well, it actually has some crema on top. I wasn't floored by it, and it could have been better, but when compared to a lot of pod-based machines or simply just drip coffee makers, I think this is actually a good addition. This is a feature that gives people the option to make the occasional cappuccino or latte, or like an espresso style concentrate for fun coffee cakes or other baking and cooking fun. Now, I have a few other cool notes to share about the machine. As I mentioned before, the beverages are really hot. In fact, this is the hottest out of any fully automatic I've tried personally. In fact, I think it's too hot, and I would recommend dialing it down if you buy it. Like, first thing you do, stick the temperature down. But if you really value a piping hot beverage, this machine is going to address that problem right out of the box. I also want to speak about the integrated grinder. People who are passionate about dialing in the grind size and getting the best extraction possible out of their bean will not be happy about this machine being incapable of adjusting the grind size. But this system isn't designed for those people, and it makes the transition to this machine just a little bit easier for everyone else. People are going to feel really comfortable using this machine. In fact, comfort seems like the first and foremost priority. It truly is one button push, and it'll get everybody going to a great cup of coffee with almost no effort whatsoever. Arguably, it's less work than a lot of single-serve systems, considering you don't have to fiddle around with a pod during the brewing process. With that being said, there is a small inconvenience of having to clean it out once in a while. To do this, you simply remove the brew group, soak it, and rinse it under the tap with some water. All right, I'm going to wrap it up, but before I do, I'm going to share a few things that I wasn't a huge fan of. First off, the machine was really big. In my circumstance, I only had a tiny little bit of clearance to fit it under my cupboard, and I can imagine a lot of people are in the same boat. To fill the bean hopper, you'd likely have to pull the machine out from the cupboard. The water tank, it's also only 2 liters. Now, that's pretty standard in a lot of coffee machines, but I think considering the size of the unit, they could have made it bigger. I think this being a different class that brews larger beverages, it's going to attract a lot of people that want to make several big thermoses or large cups, and they're going to go through the 2 liters pretty quickly. I hope that De'Longhi takes note of this and releases a upgrade part for a larger water reservoir, because I think that will improve a lot of people's quality of life. Lastly, on the cons list, this is not a true espresso maker. With that being said, we can't have everything. Espresso machines couldn't really be full drip coffee makers, and drip coffee makers can't really be a true espresso machine. I know there are some exceptions to this, but I don't think they're a fair comparison because they are thousands and thousands of dollars, and we're talking about a whole different class that's accessible to the general consumer. I think a lot of people who are on cheaper single-serve systems, this is like a small jump for them to have a huge quality of life improvement. I think De'Longhi has really found a hole in the market where a lot of people will be enticed to buy these machines. There's a strong argument to be made with the quality of coffee, the ease of use, and also the cost as well. There are a whole lot of reasons for people to transition over to this machine. Feel free to click the link in the description of the YouTube video, and there should be product specifications there. So with all that being said, thank you for joining today and enjoy your coffee.